Are you losing your sexual confidence because you recently found out that your girlfriend has been faking it in the bedroom? Hi there, men's dating coach Harry Wilmington here, founder of IntrovertDatingSuccess.com. And on today's show, you're going to learn how you can get out of your own way so that you can be open to learning how to properly satisfy your woman in the bedroom. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and little bell icon to be notified of when we put up daily videos. Also, be sure to go to the website to download my free ebook, Texting Like a Boss, as well as clicking on the tip jar tab to show your support, the link of which you can find at the website and down in the description. Let's get into it. So I went on Reddit and I found a post of a guy that's been having a difficult situation recently with his now fiance. So he's been going out with this woman for 4 years, and up to this point, he thought he was doing everything he needed to satisfy his girl in the bedroom. And turns out that he was not. And now he's all in his head about what he should do, and things aren't going the way that he wants them to in the bedroom, and he just feels so down and out. So I'm going to read his situation, and I'll stop at points to answer his question to give you guys some insight into what you can do in the event that you have found out, lo and behold, your girl's been faking it and you want to actually improve to get better. So it goes like this. I've been with Bianca for 4 years. I love her so much more than anything. I proposed 2 months ago. Last month, she told me that since the beginning of our relationship, she faked it a little over half the times we've had sex. I was crushed. I thought I was rocking her world and fully satisfying her. She's told me before that I was the best she's ever had. She told me that she was very afraid that she'd crush my confidence, so she held it in. But now that we're going to be married, she feels it's not fair to either of us to hold this in. I tried to be understanding, but I told her that this hurts me so much more than it would have for her to tell me early on in our relationship. I'll be completely honest, I nearly cried hearing the news. I'm embarrassed, emasculated, and feel completely inadequate. I'm a man who can't satisfy his woman in a way that no other man should. I feel worthless. Okay, so let's break this down, okay? So yeah, the woman didn't tell you for all these years that she wasn't being as satisfied as she could be. And if she's saying, by the way, that a little over half the time she hasn't had an orgasm, that means most of the time. Like she's trying to not give too much of a blow to his ego. But yeah, I can assure you, most of the time she hasn't had an orgasm with this guy, okay? Now, to her point, she said that she was afraid that she would crush his confidence. And as you can see from his reaction where he says he cried, he was embarrassed, he was emasculated, that's absolutely what happened. And this is actually a reason why many times a woman might be feeling a certain way about something in your relationship, but she won't bring it up. It's because the few times that women have tried to do this in previous relationships, what most of the reaction that they get is a guy either yelling out and saying that's not true and what you're saying is not a real thing, or they have these strong reactions like this where it's like the guy takes it as a personal attack on him to where he can't even hear what she's saying because he's just so hurt by the fact that he couldn't do this certain thing. So in this guy's case, just like she thought was going to happen, is that he feels emasculated and he feels like he's not being able to adequately satisfy her and he feels like less than a man. And this is how most men will react. So you got to understand, guy, that part of being in a relationship and having a good relationship with strong communication is recognizing when you need to just let your ego go. And what that means is there's going to be times when women come to you and they're going to have a grievance of some kind and they're going to have a situation that they want to talk about with you that, you know, you might be not handling things in a way she needs to and she wants to talk about it. And you have to completely like not take that as a personal attack. And that honestly comes with age, and it comes with being open-minded and recognizing that a person that loves you and a woman that genuinely cares for you, if she's coming to you with a grievance of some kind, it's not meant to be a personal attack. If anything, she's telling you this thing because she wants it to get better, because she does not want this to be a thing that you guys end up breaking up over. And I got to tell you right now, a lot of divorces in this country happen because of bad sexual chemistry. Like the woman gets married to the guy thinking it's going to be whatever, or that it'll get better, or that she can just, you know, at some point mention to him that this needs to be changed. And then when she tries to do that, she gets this kind of reaction and she doesn't get the sexual life that she wants. And she eventually ends up cheating on the guy or leaving him. Okay. So understand, women like sex, and women like good sex, and women like having orgasms. And if you are not able to bring that to the table, and then you're not willing to listen to her to figure out how to do this thing, then it's going to cause some friction, and ultimately she will leave you to get that experience, okay? So be more open-minded. When you first get with a woman, realistically, you're new people to each other. You're not going to know everything that she likes. You're going to have a good gauge of like, okay, I know women in general like these things over here, but she's also a different entity that might have things about her that sexually turn her on that either didn't turn on other women or is new, you know? I've had it where I've hooked up with, like, say, one woman where she liked me doing certain things, and then I tried those same things on a new girl that I'm dating, and it didn't quite work out the same way, and she had her own things that she needed. So when I go into new relationships, I always tell women very early on, I say, hey, you know, after we've hooked up a couple of times, I'll say, hey, just so you know, like, I'm all about the education. Like, I don't take anything personally. If there's things in the bedroom that you need me to do or not do that are going to get you to the famous O that you want to get, then I am all open, to hearing about what that is. And then I let them put me through the paces. Let me know what angles you like, what positions, where my head needs to be, where my tongue needs to be, what I need to do with my hands. Like, I want to know it all. And because I'm so open to it, it makes it fun for them. And because I'm open also, they're not so stuck in their head that they're like, oh my God, I'm like having to tell him stuff and I'm kind of nervous and he's not really liking it and what's going on. Okay. So and understand again, they did it for 4 years before she said anything to him. So I understand his frustration and the feeling of like, oh, we should have had this talk early on. But guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of things that happen like this because women, depending on their emotions, will feel open to telling you certain things and other times not. So yeah, you might date a girl for like 2 years before she says, hey, so just so you know, when you bite your nails, it annoys me. And you're thinking like, I've been biting my nails since like day one. You could have told me this years ago. But, and just like she said, he's saying right now like, oh, it would have been better if I'd heard this early on. Guy, be honest with yourself. Your ego is partially tied to your ability to have a good bedroom performance. You know that if she had told you this early on, you would have had the same reaction, or it would probably been a worse reaction because you'd have been like, well, you only dated for 2 weeks, but man, I really got my mojo working. I'm doing my best moves. Like, how dare you say it must be something that you're not used to or blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't see any situation where if she would have told him this at any time, he would have taken it better than another time. Like, just by the way of him nearly crying about this kind of stuff, like he would have clearly been a guy that would have been hurt at any time. And she knew this. And honestly, there are probably other things in their relationship that she wanted to bring up that she has in the past brought up where he probably overreacted to where she's like, well, dang, if he's overreacting to this thing, I definitely can't mention the bedroom thing. So understand, guy, these surprises are going to come up. And when they come up, you got to learn to let your ego down a little bit and just be happy that she mentioned it at all. Be happy that she's bringing it to your attention so you can now fix the problem versus being mad that the problem exists in the first place, you know? Continuing on. So he said he feels worthless. And then she told me that it's not my fault because she's been refusing to communicate her needs. This doesn't make me feel better. Yeah, it's not meant to make you feel better, but that is her truth, is that she has had a hard time. If she's been in previous relationships where she's tried to mention it and there was a backlash, she's going to be a little bit hesitant to bring it up to you, just like the way you responded now is going to probably make her, if you guys break up, it's going to make it harder for her to do it to the next guy also. Continuing on. She's been trying to explain to me what she likes, but it just doesn't work out. She'll tell me positions and guide my rhythm in a way that's made her orgasm before, and it doesn't work. I can't get her off through oral or fingers. Nothing I can do for her is good enough for her. I keep thinking about her exes. If she didn't help me, she probably didn't help them. They probably all knew her body in a way I will never be able to get. They were all probably hung like horses and could hit all the buttons in my fiance just because they were big. All these thoughts dominate my mind. Okay, so now this guy's making up stuff. I mean, he's making up these fantasies of like, she probably had guys that were 3 or 4 times bigger than me or whatever. But let's go back. Let's address a few things earlier before I get to that. So here's the thing. So now they're in a situation where she's trying to explain things to him. But the problem is this. Based on the way he reacted, I'm guessing it's probably a thing where even if she's trying to tell him to do certain things or position himself in certain ways, she knows that he's just so up in his head. And you can tell that because I'm guessing that based on how this is going, when she's telling him stuff, he's trying to do those actions, but there's still a part of him just like, okay, so is it like this? Like it sounds like he's probably very hesitant or he's very like gun shy or he's not really too sure of himself. And as guys, we're very much about logistics and also we're very literate people. So we're thinking, okay, if she says I thrust this way, then and she gets off, then all I got to do is thrust that way and she'll get off. But you got to take into account the fact that it's beyond just physical movements for them. It's also about the overall feeling of what you're bringing, the energy that you're bringing to the bedroom, and how you're viewing yourself and what kind of energy you're putting out there. So this guy, based on how he reacted to the news in the first place, sounds like one of those guys that's like very intimidated, and he can be very apprehensive and very anxious. And this is true for a lot of introverts. We just get that way in general, where it's like, oh my God, I'm so anxious because I'm around somebody finally and I don't know what to say or what to do. But this guy, he's bringing that energy to the bedroom. So now, aside from he might be getting the movements and stuff right, but his attitude's not right. His positioning is not right. The way that he's conducting himself in this situation is not right. And he's clearly in his head about this. So he's probably being like, is this the way that your ex did it? Or is this the right movement? Does this feel good? So he's like probably asking all these questions, and he's not making the experience pleasurable for her. So since he's bringing that negative energy and that anxious energy to the situation, women are going to read off and feed off of what you're bringing. So if you're bringing a confident mood, if you're bringing a fun and playful mood to the bedroom, they're going to feel that. If you're bringing this apprehension and this anxiety, they're going to feel that. So if you're in your head about stuff, now she's going to be in her head about stuff. And now she can't get off because she's thinking about how much you're freaking out. And it's not allowing her to get to that place in her head where she can just kind of relax and just take in the moment and feel not only the movements, but also the energy that you're bringing to the situation, feeling your confidence, feeling your boldness, feeling your bravery. And that can cause those same movements that would normally get off from somebody else to not work for you. Because he's saying, like I said, other exes that she had were doing these movements and were being able to get her off. So they were probably coming to the situation with a little bit more confidence than this guy has, which is why she was able to do that. Because when they're coming to the table with all this confidence and their moves, she's not having to think. She's just able to enjoy him, enjoy the way he feels and his strength, and probably the way he smells and the hairs on his face and all the other masculine stuff. And he's honestly bringing a lot of very feminine energy to the situation. Like him being not sure of himself, him being apprehensive, him being anxious, that is all energy that, I don't want to say that that's necessarily femininity. I'll say that is energy that is less than masculine, and therefore she's not getting the full masculine energy from him that she needs to feel the completeness of the emotional event this needs to be for her to make her get off. And that's what it is. So yeah, he's all up in his head thinking about previous exes and is this movement right? And I'm probably not doing anything right. And the 4 years that I've been with her, she never told me this and that. And he's throwing his game off. So guys, here's the thing. And this all goes back to his ego, how he feels about himself and all those other things. This is why it's really good to become indifferent to outcomes and to recognize that your ego is not telling you the full story. Because the reality is, when you get into relationships, you're not going to know everything you need to do perfectly in the bed with a woman. I've had women that I've dated where it's like, I'll be thinking, for example, like, I'll go down to the woman and I'm using a technique that I used before that got another woman off, and it's like, it's not working for her. So now it's like, it might take me like 4 or 5 sessions of doing that to where I get it to the proper technique that works best for her. But once I discover it, I can do it back to back with no problem. And now I'm in a space where like, oh, this is great. But the reason I'm able to do that is because when I'm first told, oh, you're not doing it the right way, I don't take it like, oh, I'm not doing it the right way. Well, what do you mean? Like, but this has worked before. And oh my God, what's going on? No, I take it as, okay, so instruct me, guide me. I want to do this. And the women are excited because it's like, oh, if I get to teach them this stuff, I'll eventually get to have the big, oh, let's do it. And then I'll listen and try things over and over again. But I'm not thinking the whole time, oh, I hope that she likes this. And I kept it going so bad before. And like, you gotta give yourself grace and understand that it's okay to not know every single thing you need to do initially or early on to get your woman off. But it is to your detriment if you're not open to learning those things and not recognizing that she can probably teach you best about her body, and that it's going into it as a stranger, you're not going to know everything. That's totally fine. But you have to show those signs early on to a woman that she can come to you. And so where a lot of guys mess this up is early on, a woman will come to you with like a minor complaint about something like, hey babe, so you wash the dish this way, but I really like it this way. What? Well, you should be happy I washed the dish in the first place and blah, 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 blah. Now she knows she cannot come to you with a complaint without having some kind of criticism or you having some kind of overly strong reaction to it. Which is why it's good to be indifferent, because in the same vein, if some girl comes to me, hey, so just, you wash the dish this way, but I really like my dish washed this way. Okay, cool, no problem. That's the end of the conversation. But it lets her know that I'm open to listening to how she does things. And that's going to transition into bedroom stuff where she can say, hey, babe, so, And a lot of the other girls early on, they'll come to you in ways that you won't really notice. Like they might say, like, say you're like massaging them a certain way and they're like, oh, I really like that. And then you change up. Well, now she knows, oh, so I was telling him I like this certain touch that he's doing and he changed it around. Now I know I can't come to him with requests because Lord knows he's going to think I got to do it my own way. And then they shut up. So really make it a point early on to either look for those situations where she's mentioning something that you could change up and then, addressing it accordingly, or say early on, hey, just so you know, like I know we're hooking up having a good time, but obviously I don't know you fully yet. So if you have things you want me to do or things I could change up, let me know. Be proactive in going to her early on and saying, I want this to be a great bedroom experience for you as well. So if you have requests or things or fantasies or anything like that, please let me know what they are so we can get to popping on that. And when you're proactive in it, you'll find that because you're taking the initiative, you won't be so hurt when she shows you how to do stuff because you're asking her to show you how to do stuff, which subconsciously makes you, or it's a weird mind trick of like, it makes you realize like, oh, you're putting it in your control. So now you're in control of making her feel good by telling her to let you know how to best make her feel good versus coming to you later and it's like, now it's her stuff. But even with that, yes, you want to be proactive and yes, you want to be the one to try to initiate this stuff. But if she comes to you later of her own initiation and does that, do not take that as a bad thing. Listen, adjust, and just try to get her off, man. Ultimately, we're all in the sex thing to try to get each other off. And if you're not doing it and you don't know how to do it, be open to listening and don't be in your head about what she did in the past. If they're engaged. So clearly, despite the bad sex, she still wants to be with him. She's just bringing it up now because she's realizing, oh, in terms of a long-term sex life, I want better. But she still got engaged to him with a bad sex life. So if nothing else, this woman still loves him for who he is. She just wants to change this aspect of the relationship. And you know what? She came to the dude late. There's something to be said for like, oh, women need to speak up earlier, but there is also something to be said for, but men need to react to stuff better when women do say stuff. But yeah, she's giving you, this guy, the opportunity to be able to change up because she wants to stay with him. Okay, so guys, stop being so butthurt when a woman comes to you and says, hey, you know what, this isn't really the best sex I've had, we could improve. Because realistically, if she was like not going down on you the way you wanted to, or touching you in certain ways that you were like, that really irritated you, you'd want to think that you could go to her and say something without her being too offended by it, right? So in that same vein, give that same grace to her as well. Now that you've heard from me, I'd like to hear from you. Have you ever had a woman come to you and say, our sex could be better? If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below or write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com. Are you ready to learn killer icebreakers that attract women on dating apps? Go to the website introvertdatingsuccess.com right now to watch my free video training, how to get attractive, feminine, emotionally stable women dying to respond to your first messages on dating apps without using sleazy pickup lines, which will give you key secrets to sparking attraction and conversations with women online the smart way. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this episode, and catch new episodes 7 days a week right here on YouTube or wherever this podcast can be found. In the meantime, be sure to check out other episodes so you too can learn how to date as your introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.